Now let's have a look at the effects unit. So over on the desk, channel 18, effects unit, there we are. So obviously that's going to be needed to be turned up if you want to hear any of the special effects, whether it's reverbs or delays or pitch shifting, weird funny sounds. And over on this side, on the subgroups, this is the input to the effects unit from the desk, so you don't really need to worry about this, but just make sure it's set there on 0. You can't really see because of that shadow. If I move this, now you can see it. 0 there. So just have it set at 0. These are minus numbers as we go down, -5, -10 decibels, and this is plus. dB at the top stands for decibels. They're just units of measurement to measure sound. So just keep that at 0 all the time, whether you're using it or not, and then we control it with this. So you don't really need to worry about the subgroup input, just keep it there at 0. So I'm going to play a CD. Turn that down a little bit. So basically, if I want the effects unit to affect the CD player, what I've got to do is I've got to tell the CD player which subgroup to send to. So because over here on the subgroups, remember, effects unit, we're actually on 5 and 6, group 5 and 6, and it's actually, we're only on 1, so we're really on group 5 there. So we're on number 5, so that means anything that we send to number 5 is going to be affected by the effects unit. So we could send a microphone, we could send the talkback, we could send anything to channel to group 5, and the way we do that is by these group buttons here. So that's what these mean: groups 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So on the CD player, for example, we'd have to have 5 and 6 pressed in. So let's see if we can see this. 5 and 6, they're off now. And if I do this, this is the effects channel. Nothing. You're not hearing anything. And that's because these buttons are not pressed down. So if we press down 5 and 6, that means we're sending the CD player to the effects unit. So watch this. We'll press them down, 5 and 6. Now when we try this. I'll boost it a little bit more, the volume. See if you can hear this. It's just a delay effect. It's not pleasant, but this shows you what it actually does. So basically, it's just delaying the signal. Obviously the reason why we'd want to use that, we'd have to know why we're actually using it. There's no point just using it. We want it to enhance the sound or the experience, obviously. So reverbs are really good for that because they make things sound a little bit more emotional sometimes, or a little bit more rich, I guess, or awesome. I don't really know how to describe it. It just sounds good. And obviously a big reverb on someone's voice is probably going to be too much. So it's all personal taste as well. And if you don't know what you're doing with the effects unit, just don't worry about it. It's not essential. But we do use it on worship nights, and it creates a really nice atmosphere. It's just really beautiful to add that to the sound. So just to summarise, if we wanted to send the computer, for example, to the effects unit. I'm not sure why we want to do that, but what we've got to do, we've got to make sure that the subgroup number 5 is turned up, and then we go over to the computer channel and make sure that number 5, and they're in pairs, so it's 5 and 6, make sure that's pressed in. That means it's on, so it's being sent now. The computer's being sent, whatever comes from the computer is being sent over to the subgroup here. It actually goes that doesn't matter. So yeah, that's being sent to the subgroup, and then what we can do is we can turn up the effects channel, which will hear it through the speakers if we had something coming from the computer, and that's it. Do one more just to try to get this burnt into your memory. So let's say the talkback channel. I'm sat at the desk singing along, and I want some effects on the talkback channel. So basically what I'll do is I'll just make sure that this is already set. Yeah, number 5's already set. That's the master effects. And then I'm going to go to the talkback channel, make sure number 5 and 6 is pressed in. There we go. Talkback, make sure I'm getting some volume from the talkback so people can hear it through the main speakers. And then we begin to turn the effects up. So basically the effects is added to the talkback. So if the talkback's down, obviously you're not going to hear anything. If the talkback's up, you're going to hear things, but you won't hear the effects unless the effects is turned up as well. So that's without effects. This is with effects. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, then send me some questions. So on the effects unit, this tells you what effect we've got. We've got a delay, we've got left and right. And that's actually left channel delay by 500 milliseconds. You don't really need to know about all that stuff, but basically what you do to change it is you go here to these arrows and you can go up and down. That tells you, look, Rev 5, that's a reverb, and it's a room reverb. The next one is another reverb, reverb, reverb. They're all different reverbs. That's a pitch change. That'll be interesting. Let's see what that does. So what I do is if you can see, hopefully, there's a recall button here. So you can get the camera to focus in there. Recall, yeah, you kinda saw it then. So that's a recall button. And what you do when you press recall, there, that switches to the setting that we chose. We've chosen number 60. So now we've got a pitch change effect. Let's see what that does to the CD player. They're already in, that's good. Effects unit. So this is without it. Listen to the vocal. It's probably not that obvious. You might not be able to tell actually from the video camera, but basically what it's doing, it's changing the pitch of the whole audio. So we've got a mix of different pitches. It's not pleasant, but it's an example of how to do this. So let's try a different one. Stereo echo, reverb. You can go up or down, it doesn't matter which way you go. 71. I'm not sure how many things this thing's got in. Distortion, exciter, multi pitch change, multi chorus, lots of different ones. Oh, what's that? There we go. 99 we've got. So we've got 99 to choose from. Reverb. what was that? Canyon. Let's try that. So then we press the recall button. That basically activates it, and numbers stop flashing. So now we'll go over and try it. So we'll apply it to the CD player. They're already pressed in. That's without effects. This is with effects. So I'm hoping you can hear that there's a massive reverb. It sounds like you're in a big canyon. So that's probably the basics covered there, but you can have some fun with this and get some really nice sounds. So feel free to play around with it and get used to it a little bit. We're in the Church of Grace. Hopefully, give you a little bit of space to learn and experiment. God bless you.